last week, I was in Costa Rica. How many of you been to Costa Rica? Yes. Did you guys like it? Let me know in the chat. On this peninsula, there's 4 really good resorts. The Ondas right here, there's the Ritz right here, and then there's the Four Seasons, Papagayo, Costa Rica, right here, okay? And we were here. We were at the Four Seasons. Now, there's another resort, the Ritz right here. And the Ritz had opened up just a year ago, whereas the Four Seasons it had been there for 20 years. And the unique thing with the Four Seasons is, if anyone is thinking of going, there's something very unique they have that nobody on this peninsula has. They have 2 beaches, not 1, but 2. And it's just because of the way the real estate's located. You got Blanco here, and you got Virador right there. So you got a beach right here and a beach right here. The Ritz doesn't have that. Oh no, it only has 1 beach, right? Okay? But the Ritz is brand new, and they're getting all this press. So we're like, let's go check out the Ritz, maybe go grab a bite to eat at the Ritz and check it out, right? So we go there one evening, and we noticed something about this. It's really nice. Service, of course, it's the Ritz. It's buttoned up. But here's the thing we notice. Barely any people were there. Barely any people. And I'm going to tell you this. It's really the things that bring life to your practice are the people and the energy. So you go to a resort and it's like totally dead, unless like that's exactly what you're looking for. You're looking to just be alone on an island or whatever it is. And I get that. But I'm going to tell you this, that only lasts for so long. We went in there and I walked out. I'm like, man, I told my wife, I'm concerned for them because I don't know how good they're going to do. And I was even talking to the bellman and the local, the service people that were there. And they were just sitting around. They were just, they didn't know what else to do. An idle mind is the devil's strategy, right? You don't want to be idle. It's the same thing in your practice. It is okay to schedule other clear aligner cases when other cases are coming in. This is why we have event days, because there is a vibe in the office. Clear aligner day. We got the porcelain veneer day or the smile makeover day, because you're bringing a vibe to the practice. When we launched our offices one by one, all 3 of them, we would on purpose schedule patients when it was busy, on purpose. You'd be like, Ranesh, you're not seeing anybody at 10 o'clock. Just, you can see this patient and you're going to be good. No. Bring them in when some of the chairs are filled. Why? Because people understand that, hey, you know what? It's these 2 things that brings life. It's the people. It's the people and the energy that you have in your office. This equals life. So if you're thinking, oh, we're not selling those cases, or we're not, I'm telling you, sometimes it's the energy that you have in your practice. People are walking in, they had a rough night, or they're walking in, they woke up 30 minutes before starting work. How are you going to bring the best of you to the rest of the day if you just haven't optimized your mind and primed your body and gotten ready for the day properly? You can't just roll over to high performance. You have to be prepped for it. You have to be intentional about this. Same goes for you and I. We can't just expect to turn the doorknob, walk into our office, and boom, be on the front stage. I always tell the team, the front stage is what the patients see. The backstage is, oh, the instrument fell. We got to sterilize it. It's all the clutter back there that every production has. But the people plus the energy is going to equal the life of your practice. So part of what you have to talk about and to dig into is how do you bring that to your people? And the best way to bring life or energy to your practice is stories of transformation. Stories of your patients, what you've done, inspiring situations that you've heard of. Like I would listen to something, watch something, and that's what I would show in our office meetings. Because I want to change state. That's what we want to do. We want to shift the energy and then start the month or start the day or start the week. So part of your job as a leader is to come up with something that inspires you, that makes you feel like there's possibility and hope that you're excited about. In fact, I'm going to tell you a great conversation starter with any of your patients is how many of you ask them, you know, how is it going? Everybody asks that. How's it going today? What's going on? It's a vanilla statement. Let's start asking better questions. What if we asked our patients, hey, John, what are you excited about this week? A little bit different. What are you excited about this week? What's something cool you're working on for this year? Who the heck asks other people these questions? Nobody. 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 People are checked out. When everyone in our world is checked out, the person that decides to tap in just a little bit gets the unfair advantage. So you have to pique interest from your patients. What's the best thing you've done this summer? I love that one. Murray Johnson posted that right here. What's the best thing you've done this summer? What are you excited about next month? Is there something cool that you're looking forward to in your job? These are questions that pique energy. It almost forces them to tap into something greater. Forces them to tap into something greater. And part of our job is not, just presenting treatment. And oftentimes dental consultants and agencies talk about, hey, you know what? Here's how to best present treatment. And they often overlook the human element of like, gosh, if I can get that patient into this optimal energetic state, how much more effective is it going to be, are my suggestions going to be for them? Way more effective. So your job is to get them in a great state. And the best way to do that is to ask the right questions. Questions that empower them, questions that make them think, questions that make them feel like, hey, you know what? You're going deeper than the transactional business, right? Most businesses are transactional because in the beginning as a business, you're just trying to get return on investment. But as you're trying to grow and you're really trying to create an iconic organization, and it doesn't have to be that you have to be doing 10 or 20 or 30, $50 million. You just want to be the best at what you do. And I'm telling you, if that's what you show up as, the person that's committed to being the best at what they do, no one's better. And they can be out there, but I'm just committed to being the best at what we do. And that's what you need to deliver, the best of who you are. And the only way you can give the best of who you are is if you tap into the most of who you are consistently. You're priming yourself. You're getting ready in the morning and you're like, I had something good to eat. I got my walk in, my workout. I'm feeling good. I'm in a good place. The reason why you and I improve and evolve and do our best to be in a good place is because the more we grow, the more we can give. You see, if we're not growing, we can't be giving, right? So part of us evolving is so that way we can give. And the winning is in the giving. Now, we started off saying, hey, give more than expected. But strategically from a business, give when it is unexpected, right? That's the double down compounding business strategy part of it. Does that make sense? Can I is awesome. Tony Robbins, constant and never-ending improvement. That is amazing. So people and energy equal life. You have to generate that in your practice. A good way to do that with your patients is to ask the right questions, is for you to also come in energetic. You're not bringing in the Monday blues or the Thursday tireds or the Friday efforts, right? Right? So it's like, it's the Friday efforts. Whatever, I'm out. How many times have you told a team member to like get something done at 3:45 p.m. on a Friday, and you're like, dude, they're not gonna want to do this. It's 4 o'clock on a Friday, Ranesh. I get it. You got to play with human nature. I get that. But as a leader, you got to bring the best of you, because your team's never going to be like, they're not going to lead more than you are if you haven't set the bar. You got to set the bar. Sherry says, what you're saying is what we do well at our office. My team excels at this. The patient yesterday loves coming into our office so he can learn how we talk to our patients, and then he can use that information, he said, to help him in his business. What a great compliment to Dr. Morningstar's business. Someone's coming into her office to shadow the best practices that she's using in her business. So that way he can use that in his bicycle business, in his pizza store, in his clothing business, whatever it is. Because the one ubiquitous thing amongst all these things is the human experience. And that's why I said that's the one thing that will be untouched by AI. In fact, it's going to be even more important. Now, I'm going to tell you this one other thing as we get through this. You have to do this, and you got to be consistent. But it's not just about being consistent. You also have to be predictable. Now, you may be thinking, gosh, Ranesh, you said give more than expected. But you said give when it's unexpected, right? That's what we said. Give more than expected, but give when it's unexpected. So what does predictability have to do with that? Well, they have to know that you're a level or you're an organization that's committed to excellence, and this is just how you roll. If I go to Dr. Sobotin's office, I know I'm going to get this quality service. Daniel's he's committed to this. He's not going to be doing dentistry that's subpar. Or I can trust him because I see the way he speaks to me and I see our conversations. That's just how he rolls. There's no sort of like signature or contract I need from Daniel because that's just who he is. Right? That's predictability. You have to be predictable because you've consistently done that. Your team has to do that, right? And the people around him are embodying that. And now the people around him actually take that to the next level because, wow, it started here. I see the standard he's keeping. I want to make sure we build on that. You see, everybody has this internal desire to be great, to do better, to serve consistently. We all have that desire where we want to do more and do better. We've all felt kind of in the quiet of our thoughts that, hey, you know what? I know I could do more. I know I could do better. Well, why do so many human beings feel like that? Because there's this internal desire that, gosh, we want to do more and we want to do better. We want to do better. We know we can do better. But the environment, the leadership, the people around you has to support those internal desires. And our job as leaders is we need to bring that out and see the best in our team. Be like, hey, you know what? For the most part, I believe people are good. Most people are good people. Sometimes you put them in environments and sometimes they don't make good decisions, but there's many times good people make bad decisions. But if you put good people in good environments with good leadership, they can do great things. And that's part of it.